Hello everyone. We will see how to analyze someone's education from birth chart. So this native has opted for chemistry in the dasha of Jupiter, Venus, Venus. So Mahadasha Lord Jupiter is under direct influence of Moon. Moon is aspecting Jupiter. Moon is Karak of chemistry. And Venus, Antar and Pratyantar Dasha Lord, is in the sign of Moon in Cancer, the sign representing chemistry. So both Dasha lords are under the influence of Moon and Cancer. Now, point number two, planets influencing fifth house and fifth lord tells us about someone's education. So Saturn is in fifth house and fifth lord Venus is in Cancer with Ketu. Here, Dasha of Venus is running. So we will give first preference to fifth lord. Placement of fifth lord, Shukra. Here, Venus is in Cancer with Ketu. Cancer is water. Ketu is minute particles. So study of minute particles in water or liquid, like molecules, atoms. So Venus in Cancer with Ketu shows study of liquid very minutely, particles of liquid. So this represents this person is bound to get chemistry as a major subject because the influence of Moon and Cancer on fifth lord and Dasha lords. So this native has opted for electronics and communication. Here you can see fifth lord is in Gemini sign, sign of Mercury, and fifth lord is placed in the nakshatra of Rahu. So Gemini sign itself the sign of communication and networking. And fifth lord is placed in Gemini sign and in nakshatra of Rahu. So Rahu Mercury, networking and communication. Now fifth house has Ketu and retro Jupiter. Ketu is minute things, study of minute things. That's why electronics, Ketu here represents electronics, especially with retro Jupiter. The role of retrogradation is very important here. If Jupiter would be direct, so this turns whole education into the side of medical and living organisms, study of living organisms, medical side, biochemistry side. If Jupiter would be direct, but retro Jupiter changed whole the game. It gave him technical education. So because retrogression shows technical planets, direct Jupiter shows living organism. So retro Jupiter technical study with Ketu study in depth of minute technology, electronics and communication. Here you can see Ketu is in the nakshatra of Mercury. So again, communication part is prominent, we can see, and Jupiter, retro Jupiter is in nakshatra of Saturn. Here, retro Jupiter, 7 degree 39 minutes. From 4 degree 20 minutes to 16 degree 40 minutes. It is nakshatra of Saturn, Anuradha nakshatra. So Jupiter retro is in nakshatra of Saturn, making it highly technical planet. Whereas Jupiter is naturally very soft planet and totally non-technical. So here, role of nakshatra and retrogradation is very, very prominent. And we can see Rahu, Mercury's involvement in fifth house and with fifth lord and Ketu's in nakshatra of Mercury, we can say communication part will be prominent. And fifth lord is in Aries sign. Here, this native in the dasha of Jupiter, Jupiter has opted for law. In fifth house is aspected by Jupiter, Mercury, and Sun. But we will give first preference to Dasha Lord. So Jupiter is aspecting fifth house. Fifth house is aspected by Jupiter, giving him law, and Jupiter is conjunct with Saturn and in the sign of Mars. Saturn and Mars, both planets, are Karak of law. So here Dasha and Antardasha Lord Jupiter is under the influence of Saturn and Mars, giving him education in law. And Jupiter is aspecting fifth house. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, three of them are Karak for law. So all three energies are here in first house with Mahadasha and Antardasha Lord. And it is also influencing fifth house. If we see fifth Lord, it is in the sign of Saturn, and fifth Lord Sun in the sign of Saturn, as in the nakshatra of Mars. Again, fifth Lord in the sign of Saturn and in the nakshatra of Mars, giving him Saturn and Mars being the Karak for law, giving him education in law. This native, this native from some other country messaged me to see education for masters. This native has done physics BSc in the dasha of Jupiter, Jupiter. We can see fifth for firstly physics is subject shown by Sun. Sun and Leo sign shows physics. Strong influence of Sun on fifth house, fifth lord, and same dasha lords can give physics. Here, fifth house has Scorpio sign. Its lord Mars is in ninth house in Pisces in the nakshatra of Saturn. Sun is not influencing fifth house, neither fifth lord. Mars is in the sign of Jupiter and in the nakshatra of Saturn. So here is no influence of Sun. Point number two, Dasha Lord. An Mahadasha and Antardasha Lord Jupiter is with Rahu and in the sign of Gemini. Jupiter is in the nakshatra of Saturn. So Rahu, Mercury, and Saturn are influencing Jupiter, Mahadasha, and Antardasha Lord. But there is again no influence of Sun. So this chart we can see is not fit for predictions. This chart needs BTR because Sun should strongly influence fifth house or fifth Lord Mars or Jupiter. But we can see Mercury, the Karak for formal education, is in the conjunction of Sun. But this alone point is not enough at all. So this chart surely needs some BTR. This is how we can see someone's education. Major things are running dasha and fifth house, fifth lord. The planets influencing them decide education. educational subjects, and courses. This is a quick view for how to analyze education, but we use D1, D9, use of nakshatra is very major. Use of D9 is very important. And relevant divisional charts, Dashmansh, Karaks, Mercury, Jupiter, and relevant houses from Karaks, Chandra Kundali, Dasha Kundali, everything is seen for very precise and strong statement that native will opt for this subject and this subject will be very good for native in future. This is just a quick view. That's why we took D1 for analysis. Nakshatras are very, very important here for analyzing and education.